What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. And what I got for your face balls today is a little bit of Benchmade Auto Sweetness. So, you guys may have already heard this on some other channels, but a couple of days ago, I happened to be traveling out in the Pacific Northwest for work, and I hit up JB over at Big Red EDC as well as Zach from Zach Stuff, and the three of us got together and spent a few hours at Benchmade and got to go on a really cool factory tour. Had a great time. It was really awesome getting to meet those guys in person and hanging out and spending a little time. And yeah, just great guys. Had a fantastic time at Benchmade. Really, I can't thank them enough for showing us around the place. It was really awesome. Troy at Benchmade, if you watch this, man, thanks a lot for the tour. It was really fantastic. And really sorry to hear about Les. That actually happened. We heard about it. For those that don't know, Les, the founder of Benchmade, passed away last Friday. And that happened to be the day or the afternoon that we were there. So that was a little bit surreal. But hopefully nothing but positive things moving forward at Benchmade. And it looks like they're certainly pushing forward. So that's good. Anyway, let's talk about this knife. So this happens to be the Benchmade Auto Bedlam 8600 BK Black Class. This is actually my first Black Class Benchmade knife. The only thing I've ever had has been Blue Class knives. So this here is the Auto Bedlam, and this is certainly not a knife that I thought I was going to walk out with the other day at Benchmade. I had every intentions of picking up a knife while I was there, obviously. However, I certainly did not think it was going to be this. But then I picked it up, and I held it in my hand, and man, this thing is amazingly ergonomic. Really digging the upswept blade. So, the Auto Bedlam. This is actually a knife that was very literally developed for a king. Apparently, from the way I understand it, and I take it that this was like a Middle Eastern king. I don't know exactly what king it was. However, Benchmade designed this knife for like the security team of that king per his requests. So this is kind of a scimitar looking blade, and you got G10 scales here. It does have full steel liners, stainless steel liners. You can see everything is blacked out on this one. It is a plain edge, and it is an Access Auto knife. This is also my very first Access Auto, and that thing rockets out. And you can see here it is 154 cm blade steel. And yeah, we'll start out here with a few size comparisons. Now, I'm still on my trip, so I don't have a whole ton of stuff with me here. However, I'm just going to line them up by pivot here. There is a Ritter Hogue and another Hogue, the Deca. So you can see, guys, the Bedlam is a very large knife. A few other options here. Here it is against the Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight. And just for comedy, the Civivi McKenna. So, like I said, this is a big ass knife. And I do actually have one other knife of, we'll call it comparable size anyway. And that is the Tepe Design Hornet 2. So the Hornet 2 is also another knife that is rocking a 4-inch blade. But you can see here that the Bedlam's a big ass knife. No doubt about it. Alright, so what are we looking at here? I already told you that we've got G10. You got textured G10 scales. You do have blacked out stainless steel liners. It does have a very large backspacer with a lanyard hole. You can see right there the lanyard hole. And then you've got, which I can only assume this portion here is supposed to be, that's just the backspacer sticking out there. So, a glass breaker or just a skull cracker or whatever. It does come with a deep carry, fold over style pocket clip, but as you can see, it is not fully deep carry. But the pocket clip is mounted in a good location. So we'll get into that in a few moments. So specs on this guy are as follows. We've got an overall length of 9 13/16 inches. So this thing's flirting with 10 inches. Got a handle length of 5 7/8. And measuring from this front portion right here on the scale, it actually measures 3 7/8 to the tip of the blade. However, you actually have 4 5/16 of cutting edge. So really, because of this really large belly and that the cutting edge comes back behind this point here, you got more than 4 inches of cutting edge there, which is pretty impressive. Handle thickness is 6/10 of an inch. Blade stock thickness is right at 1/8 of an inch, so 125 thousandths. And then in the pocket, this thing actually is fairly slim this way. I'll show you. Here it is with the Ritter Hogue, and you can see there it fits completely inside the silhouette of the Ritter Hogue. So, in comparison to a full-size Griptilian, this thing really, other than its length, it's really not that large in the pocket, honestly. And for thickness, they're about the same. So really, this, we'll get into it. All right. Behind the edge thickness, we do have a flat grind here, and it is saber ground. So the flat grind starts about right here, and it does come to a decently thin edge. Certainly this is a big ass knife, so this is not going to be the best slicer in the world, but this is right at 20 thousandths behind the edge, which is respectable for a knife of this size. There's so many smaller knives out there that are 23, 24, 25 thousandths behind the edge, so this one's not horrible for the use that this is intended for. All right, now we're going to get to the one spec that isn't spectacular, let's say. All right, so I already told you that this thing's almost 10 inches long. Check this out. Yeah, 7.36 ounces. So no matter how you cut it, this is just a beast of a knife. It honestly, it's balanced better than I would have expected because of the real heavy backspacer. So there's your balance point on the knife. But it feels good in hand. You've got this, honestly, and I've got large hands. So it's very comfortable in hand. Could I do away with this back section here? For sure. But it's super, super comfortable. The thumb ramp is just perfect. It's the perfect amount of ramp for me. It does have functional jimping on the ramp as well as on the liners. And so it's just a really, really comfortable spot for your thumb. The finger choil areas here are perfectly done for a large hand. Now this does have the lock on the back here. You can push that forward, which does not allow you to manipulate the access bar. And so that functions both ways. You can lock it open or closed. It's a little bit fidgety. It does work well. But yeah, I could take it or leave it. I do like the Access Auto more than I thought I would. This is not the knife that, like I said, I did not expect to walk out of Benchmade with this knife. But it is so freaking good in hand. And it's just a beast, an absolute beast. And I can't say this 100%, but I will tell you that if you're interested in this knife, I would purchase one now. I'm just letting you know that if this is something you're interested in, they may not be around much longer, which is one of the motivating factors for me wanting this knife. Yeah, you can see here that the pocket clip is reversible. It is tip up carry only. So you got right or left side. And like I said, it does come with the deep carry clip. This clip works well in hand. You know how some clips taper down? So from this point, it's just a nice gradual taper to nothing. Let me grab this clip right here because it's a good example of this. So the Civivi clip, you can see how from the fold over all the way to the friction point, it's just a nice consistent taper. I like these style clips better. This portion here sticking up off of the scale, I can certainly feel it. This particular knife isn't bad. It's not a super negative. Like I said, I can feel it. I think it would have been better had it been designed like this clip here. But it's not horrible. It works well. The pocket clip certainly is very functional in and out of the pants. It carries really well. And for how large this knife is, because you have, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch sticking out of your pocket here, it actually isn't terrible in the pocket. You actually have got, it's about 3/4 of an inch, I suppose, sticking up out of the pocket clip. So that's leaving, 5 1/8 or something down in your pocket. So yeah, it's well done, and the action on it, man, it is snappy. For a big giant auto knife, the thing just rockets out there. I have not disassembled this knife, but there is absolutely zero blade play in any direction at all. You do have a really nice swedge up here on the top side of the blade, just kind of adding to its aggro-ness, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it looks, this is a stabby looking freaking knife right here. There's no two ways about it. But it's a cool one, in my opinion. So anyway, guys, this is just kind of a first look and impressions of this knife. Like I said, I just got it a couple of days ago. So, just wanted to show it off a little bit. And certainly you'll probably see some more of this in the future. After I carry it a little bit and use it a little more, kind of get a good idea of what this thing is capable of. But as of right now, it is, it would be nice if the old Bedlam took a bit of a diet, but it's not terrible. I mean, for how big it is, it's about the right amount of heft. I feel like, when you grab a knife that's this big, you expect it to weigh something, and it's not bad. Certainly I wouldn't pick this on a nice summer day that I'm just walking around or something. I'm not taking this knife as a carry, but on days where I'm expecting to use a knife hard, this could be a good option. And it is certainly very, very ergonomic. So that part is stellar. All right, guys, that's about all I got for you today. Thanks a lot to JB and Zach from Zach Stuff. If you guys have not, I'm sure anybody that's watching this knows those guys and already watches their stuff. But if on the off chance that you are here and haven't went over and checked out Big Red EDC and Zach Stuff, please do so. Really great guys. And thanks a lot to Benchmade for having us out. Greatly appreciate it. Really enjoyed the time there. Thanks a lot, Troy. And yeah, we will catch you next time. Thanks, and have a good one.